Welcome to DarrenDaily On Demand, your most trusted resource to help you become better every day. Today's episode is another special recap of this week's DarrenDaily Mentor Sessions. This dynamic recap was generated entirely by AI and features two hosts discussing the key principles and takeaways from the previous 5 Workday episodes of DarrenDaily. Now remember, if you aren't a member of the DarrenDaily community to receive every morning delivery of brand new episodes of DarrenDaily straight to your inbox, you can join over at DarrenDaily.com/join. Let's dive into the episode.
All right, so we're diving into some Darren Hardy today.
Yeah.
His DarrenDaily emails.
Lots to unpack there.
There is,
Really is.
we're going to be talking about productivity, leadership, even how to appreciate your boss.
It's interesting how he takes these big concepts, and makes them feel accessible.
Right, like I never yet have thought a pandemic would be good for productivity, but he uses restaurants as an example.
Oh, yeah. That's a perfect example of what he calls forced efficiency.
Forced efficiency.
Yeah. So restaurants basically had to innovate when everything changed so rapidly.
Makes sense.
And the interesting thing is some of those changes stuck around.
Like ordering through an app.
Exactly.
I mean, I remember when that was brand new and felt weird, but
I
now
agree,
it's
easier
and faster for everyone.
Have you noticed forced efficiency popping up in your own life?
Definitely. But Hardy challenges us to take it a step further.
How so?
Well, he says it's not just about businesses finding efficiencies. It's about our personal lives, too. Our routines and habits. So, like, instead of complaining about how long it takes to get ready in the morning, actually streamlining it.
Exactly. Or finding a better way to manage projects at work. Something like that.
I like that. But he also gets into some of the tougher aspects of leadership, too.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially in that piece about Reed Hastings, the Netflix CEO.
Oh, yeah. His approach with underperforming employees is pretty out there.
It really makes you think, though.
It does. It shows how important the dynamics of a team are.
And he basically says that a bad employee is like a virus.
The contagious nature of performance.
Yeah, one person can drag a whole team down.
Which makes you really stop and think about those times you might have let things slide.
For sure.
Yeah.
But then he talks about the flip side, too, surrounding yourself with A players.
Right. Imagine if everyone is operating at peak performance.
I know. It's kind of inspiring when you think about it.
Definitely, it creates this energy where everyone pushes each other to be better.
Speaking of challenging assumptions, Hardy also talks about showing appreciation for our bosses. And I'll admit, I don't usually think much about bosses' day.
It's not exactly something you got to get a gift for or anything.
No, not really. But Hardy makes a good point that leaders have a lot on their plates these days.
Totally.
Honestly, I don't always stop and think about everything my boss has to deal with.
Right. It's easy to get caught up in your own stuff.
Yeah. But the way Hardy talks about how leaders always have to consider other people's needs,
Yeah.
it's something most of us don't even think about.
It's true. And sometimes just trying to see things from their perspective can mean more than some random gift.
For sure. So, okay, let's talk about this whole embracing failure thing.
One of my favorite Hardyisms.
Right. Because it seems so counterintuitive.
It really does go against everything we're told.
Like you're supposed to avoid failure.
But he uses NVIDIA as an example.
A tech company.
Yeah, and their CEO.
All right.
And how they're not afraid to try new things even if they fail.
And NVIDIA's huge now, right?
Multi-billion-dollar company, but they didn't just magically get there.
So they had some flops along the way.
Oh, yeah. They tried getting into making parts for motherboards, didn't really pan out. They tried mobile processors, too, same thing.
Wow.
But each time they learned and adapted, and it's those so-called failures that helped them get where they are today.
So it's like they had to fail their way to success?
In a way, yeah, and they never would gotten there if they were afraid to take risks.
I guess that old saying is true. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly.
But taking those shots is easier said than done.
It is.
Like when you're about to give a big presentation or something.
It's hard to embrace the possibility of failing.
So how do we actually get better at dealing with that?
Well, Hardy says it starts with small steps. Find places where you're playing it safe and then challenge yourself a little.
So like baby steps towards being braver.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting when you usually wouldn't, or taking on a project that's a little outside your comfort zone.
Okay, I like that.
Instead of focusing on what could go wrong, you start asking, what could I learn from this?
It's a total mindset shift, isn't it?
It really is. Because those moments when things don't go perfectly according to plan, those are often the times when we learn the most.
And if you're not taking any risks, you're not really growing, are you?
Right. You're actually missing out on so much potential.
It's almost like Hardy is saying that playing it safe is actually riskier in the long run.
In a way, yeah, because When we let fear hold us back, we miss out on opportunities.
To grow and learn and connect.
Exactly. And not just in our careers either. This applies to our personal lives too, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Think about a time when you wanted to reach out to someone you admire but talked yourself out of it.
Oh, all the time.
Or when you wanted to try something new but decided it was too scary or too far outside your comfort zone.
It's amazing how often we let fear make decisions for us.
It really is. But the good news is we have the power to choose a different path.
So what's that first step? That first brave, uncomfortable step?
It's different for everyone. But it always starts with that decision to choose courage over comfort.
And to believe in ourselves enough to go after what we really want.
And remember, it all starts with that first step. What one small action can you take today to move you closer to where you want to be?
So powerful. So much to think about.
As always with Darren Hardy.
That's right. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into forced efficiency, dealing with failure, and even appreciating our bosses.
My pleasure.
And until next time, remember to keep those Darren Daily emails coming and never stop learning.
That wraps up today's episode of Darren Daily On Demand. We hope this special AI-powered recap gave you some valuable insights. If you're ready to continue leveling up and becoming better every day, make sure you join Darren Hardy and thousands of high achievers over on Darren Daily. Visit darrendaily.com/join to get free daily mentoring that will keep you focused and moving forward. Thanks for listening.